Alright, the next section here is my customs and mid-techs. The rest of them are all customs for the most part. And I mean, I still have some mid-techs in the last section, but it's hard to categorize these. And obviously this one right here and this one are not customs at all. But we're just going to get into it, round out this video here. I know it's going to be pretty long, but thanks for sticking around. Alright, so next up we have the TAD Triple Lot design. This is the production Dauntless. This is the MK1 with the full titanium version. I did anodize the back spacer to a blue. Can't remember what the voltage was, and also have the Benchmade MPR mini pocket rocket clip that I anodized blue here as well. So it kind of gives it a Shane Cyber Dauntless look, if you will. Overall, just an awesome production blade that I categorize with my customs, even though it's not a custom at all. But love the Dauntless. Just an amazing design from Triple Lot Design. Next up is the Les George Mid-Tech. This is the VECP. Forgot what it stands for. Variable something something something, but CTS XHP blade steel. This is one of the best mid-techs of all time. Kind of the one that started it all with mid-techs, I think, a couple of years ago. And this is a great one. This is a version 1. You can see all the use on that frame. But awesome carry as an EDC. Another production knife that I categorize in here because I have the custom and I keep them together. And I'll show that one to you in the next section. But this is the Microtech SOCOM Delta. This was featuring the CTS 204P blade steel on there. Love the Tonto. This is probably one of my favorite productions of all time. Super smooth on the ceramic bearings inside. Just an amazing production knife. So SOCOM Delta. Here we have the David Ridbaum Kingdom Armory. This is the Mini Samaritan Mid-Tech. I love this knife, but crazy lock rock on this one. So I'm going to be sending this one into David for sure. But overall design of the Samaritan and Mini Samaritan, I'll have a custom Samaritan on the next section. I love the design. It's awesome. So this is a very cool knife. Really cool option as a small knife. Just got to get those kinks out of it. This one I just have in here because it is a custom, but this is the Reese Wieland Raven Karambit. So I believe this is an older model of his knives. This one I have anodized to titanium as well, blue. But yeah, just another Karambit in the collection. And then we have the Sniper Blade Works. This is the LPC, the Lance Personal Carry. This knife is gigantic. I think this has a 0.22 or 0.2 inch blade of S30V. See how thick this one is to the tip as well. I think one of the thickest tips that I have in my knives, but the full black blackened knife with the titanium frame lock. This is a really cool knife and very smooth as well for its size. So really like the LPC, very ergonomic as well. Alright, next up we have a pretty not that well known custom maker, Raymond Kuhn out of Oregon. This one is called the RC2, which I believe stands for Raymond Kuhn 2 knife. Raymond Kuhn typically does a lot of fixed blades, so he doesn't have too many folders out there. But this is featuring a black ironwood scale with Mokame bolsters, and then it has this Damascus, I believe Alabama Damascus if I'm not mistaken, blade, which is ladder patterned Damascus. So it's just beautiful the way it shimmers. So unfortunately no pocket clip. It does come with an ostrich leather holster that it comes in. Next up, this is a really cool, I really like this knife. This is the Brian tie. This is the full custom Nurk tie. So the titanium anodized inside is it's just phenomenal. And the Klecker lock, I thought I was going to hate. I never pulled the trigger on this knife because I thought it was so weird. But the Klecker knife, or Klecker locking mechanism, is actually quite nice. And again, I'll be doing a review on this knife later on. Flute pattern on the blade is amazing. Brian Ty is a genius. His work is amazing, and I am so thrilled to have one of his customs in my collection. And the Nurk-Thai has always been one that I've been interested in, so I'm glad to have the full-on custom mid-tech Nurk-Thai. You can see how smooth it is as well on his bearings. You just pull on this Klecker, and if you can get enough, then it just swings closed. So you do have to be a little bit careful. But this is, I think it's a 4-inch blade, if I'm not mistaken, and it weighs under 5 ounces with all the skeletonization on the titanium. So phenomenal knife, the Nurk-Thai. Then we got the Warren Thomas. This is the Model 2, one of the lightest knives that I have, fully waterproof knives with titanium blade, carbon fiber, titanium hardware, titanium clip, titanium frame lock, carbon fiber over travel disc, chisel grind on the titanium. This is a knife that I bring to all beach events or whatever, where I don't fear getting wet or in salt water or anything like that. And I really enjoy this knife a lot. So the Model 2, definitely have always been eyeing Model 2.5 if possible. So just a great knife. Next up we have a Crusader Forge. This is, I believe, an older version of either the Viz T or the FIFP. This one is unique in that it has, it's a liner lock version, so it has full titanium, I think DLC coated or what, but a thick liner plus a scale outside of it, a sculpted scale. It's got the fat Crusader clip, just a monster stock of S30V blade as well on this Crusader Forge. So pretty impressive knife, just an absolute tank beast of a knife. And so yeah, this is one that I really like, but I'll be selling this one eventually. This is a Doc Schiffer, also relatively rare. He has a lot of the Recons out there. They're really nice. This is a large Recon model, so it's a much larger blade, I believe about 4 inches. It's got a lightning strike carbon fiber clip on here. This is such a smooth knife. Lightning strike carbon fiber scale, titanium bolster. You have some texturing on the spine of the blade and the handle, but you can just see how smooth this blade is, as big as it is, and it flies out on deployment. So really impressed with this knife. Yeah, Doc Schiffer makes some pretty cool stuff, and so I'm really glad to have the large Recon in my collection. Alright, next up is a first generation Jeremy Robertson Calavera Cutlery El Patron. This is featuring the 3 3/4 inch 3V blade steel. It's got the older pocket clip, which I like a lot more than the newer ones. This is just a great, I wouldn't call it a Sebenza killer. It would kill a Sebenza, given 3V steel and the larger blade stock and whatnot. Very well constructed. Jeremy Robertson's highly sought after now, and he's got some really great knives, flipper versions and texturing versions and stuff like that. So yeah, this is a great knife for the collection. Next up is a Yuna. I only put this in here because I don't carry it very often, but this is a Yuna hard, and this features Alabama Damascus blade steel with carbon fiber bolster and a G10 fused together, bead G10. It's got the bead blasted frame lock side and pocket clip, and so yeah, Yuna his knives are incredibly ergonomic. Just really hugs the hand perfectly. So really glad to have this one in my collection. Again, I don't carry this one enough to justify having it, so eventually after I do the review on it, I'll probably end up selling it. This is one of my pride and joys, the Birch Midtech version 2. I wanted to include it in my following section, but I have so many other knives that I wanted to include in there. So being that it's a mid-tech, it got demoted to this section. Not that any of these customs are lesser or whatever, but just the ones that I don't carry as much. I don't know, that's not true as well. But anyway, so Birch Mid-Tech, version 2, CPM 154 blade steel. This knife is absolutely incredible. Yeah, can't really say enough about Michael Birch and his construction. And granted, it's a mid-tech. A lot of the stuff is machine made, but you know, hand constructed and super smooth, ridiculous deployments, really good blade stock, and yeah, this knife, can't say enough. And I'll be doing a review on this one soon. Next up, we have a Marty Young. Darkchild 57 turned me on to Marty Young, and he had an Ursus, and then I found this Ursus on the forums, and I couldn't pass on this one. So this one's got the Chad Nichols Blackout Damascus, just beautiful Damascus pattern. I love how it contrasts so well. Titanium bolsters, titanium liners, carbon fiber scales, and then the coolest thing about this is the red, hopefully it'll focus there, you can see the red liners, little G10 liners underneath the carbon fiber, and then in the middle of the carbon fiber backspacer is really cool. So a beautiful knife from Marty Young. The only thing I dislike about this knife is the steel pocket clip. So looks kind of cheap on a knife of this caliber and with this aesthetics. It's pretty impressive. Alright, next up is the Will Moon. This is the Mark 6. Flips like a champ. This knife really surprised me at how big it was. I did not expect it to be this big. So, but overall, this is a really cool knife. Bolster lock with, I guess it's not really, it is a bolster lock. G10 scales. The coolest thing about Will Moon is how the handles taper. You know, so it gets so much thinner towards the end, and it really fits well in the hand. So you guys have seen Will's work. It's quite impressive, I have to say, and it just gets better and better. So if you can jump on his books, I think it'd be worth it. So MK6 Mark 6. This is the Stephen Kelly. This is the Collision. I've had this knife for quite a while as well, and this is one that I really like in my collection. I think just because of how unique it is. That blade, that grind, that compound grind on here, I believe it's S35 blade steel. It's a great knife. I don't know if fit and finish is the best that I've experienced, but it's not bad. Runs on IKBS, and I've had to tweak it a little bit. You know, that's why I say fit and finish maybe not the best, but overall, I love this knife. It's just such an eccentric little knife in my collection, and for some reason the blade shape and everything is just something I just gravitate to this knife, and it doesn't get carried as much as it should, but I don't know, I'll rectify that. Alright, and last in this section is the Dave Curtis. This is the F3 4-inch version. This was the previously owned by Matt Christensen version. He put a choil in the blade, running on N690 blade steel, IKBS, blue titanium frame or handles, and then bronze titanium hardware as well as pocket clip and the titanium backspacer. So this is also another great knife in my collection. Had to do some work on it, but right now it is smooth and locks up rock solid. So great one to have in the collection, especially with the choil. I think the choil really makes it a lot better than the other versions of the F3. Alright, so stay tuned for the next section.